All right, guys, welcome back to the Everything College Football Podcast. Today we've been doing our preview and prediction for the 2022 Arizona Wildcats. Make sure you guys subscribe. We'll be doing this for all 65 Power 5 teams and a handful of Group of 5 teams. Looking at this staff, Jedd Fisch, it's his second year. He was 1-11 last season. He's got Brennan Carroll, the son of Pete, as the offensive play caller. This is his second year. He spent 6 years with Seattle under his dad. Jedd and Brennan actually worked together at Miami back in 2011 and 12. You look at the defensive coordinator, Johnny Nansen. It's his first season here. Replaces Don Brown, who heads to UMass. Been at a few different stops in the Pac-12. Since 2014, he's been at schools like USC, UCLA, Washington. This was a pretty nice offseason for Fisch and the Wildcats. They added 8 transfers, 25th ranked recruiting class as well. That's some pretty impressive stuff. Looking at the offense, it's a spread attack, but last year was not an impressive unit. They ranked towards the bottom of college football in numerous statistics. Points per game was only at 17 per 355 yards per game, and then 6 rushing touchdowns. That was 128th in FBS. Just not good stuff. There's plenty of reason to be optimistic, though. I'm talking about some of those transfers. Jaden Delore being the first one, freshman of the year. Comes over from Washington State down to Tucson. Coming out of high school, he actually had an offer from Ohio State. You know, if Ryan Day likes him, then you have a really talented ball player in your backyard here. You know, 2,800 yards, 23 touchdowns last season. Did have the 9 picks, but he has good mechanics. He can drive it downfield even under pressure. Does not panic when things break down. Has above average mobility as well. I really like the way he scrambles. The second transfer they added I really like here on offense, Jacob Cowing, a deep threat. Averaged almost 20 yards per catch last season. Very elusive in open field. He's got some nice spin moves, really good speed. Solid leaping ability as well for being 5'11", 170. Cowing, the UTEP transfer, does a little bit of everything. I'm very excited to see this tandem here in 22. There's a numerous amount of freshmen, though, to be excited about. And I think the following names are all going to be really impressive this season and for years to come. The first being running back Jonah Coleman. You know, great burst, nice vision, he can catch. Wide receiver Kevin Green, 160 pounds, but that comes with plenty of athleticism. Tiroa McMillan, he's 6'4", can win jump balls, a very good route runner also. Guard Jonah Savalina. Fisch is very high on him, an athletic interior lineman. And then tight end Keon Burnett, 6'5", 225, runs very well. Might be a pass-catching option down the seam for them. They're going to look to get the tight ends more involved this season. You know, there's not much size in that wide receiver room, but there's plenty of yards after catch and athleticism for Delore to work with. You know, Dorian Singer being another one of the lone veterans here in this receiving core. 301 yards on 18 grabs last season. Outside of Coleman, the running back position isn't all that skilled. You got Drake Anderson, who's a willing blocker, the Northwestern transfer from 2 years ago. And then Michael Wiley. He did better as a pass catcher last year than a runner. You know, this running game was not very good one bit. But I do like what Coleman brings to the table. I think they got a versatile set of backs here. And again, Anderson being a blocker is certainly going to be a plus in this offense. The offensive line gets back to 3 starters. Very poor unit a season ago. Obviously, we keep pointing out how bad the running game was, but pass protection wasn't any better. I expect that to get better this season. All around, I think this unit is really going to grow this year, and I'm very excited about the young talent Arizona has on offense. Looking at the Wildcat defense, it was not a pretty unit either. You know, 31 points per game allowed. They were on field the 8th fewest plays in FBS, but yards per game-wise, it was not very good. 5.8 yards per play. That was also 94th in FBS, so they certainly struggled. You know, the passing numbers were a bit skewed. You know, as they tied with teams like Oregon State for the most 40-plus yard pass plays allowed. They only had 4 interceptions as well. That was second worst among Power 5 teams. Those numbers are certainly going to have to get better, but the pass rush is going to have to help them out a good bit too. Kyon Bars is back. He led them with 5 sacks a season ago. Had 8 TFLs. 295-pounder, lines up at nose tackle. Seen him at defensive end at times. I like Bars. Jalen Harris, another versatile guy. You're going to take a step forward next season, it seems like. Seemed to always be in the area last year. Jalen Harris was a very important player, I thought, for the Wildcats. Him and Bars give them some solid versatility up front. And then Hunter Echols, the USC transfer, he's going to look to provide some energy to this pass rush. It's a revamped linebacking core for Arizona. You know, they get 2 transfers, Malik Reed and Aubrey Solomon from the Big Ten. Jerry Roberts had a great game versus Utah last year, was limited for the most part in 2021, but that's a guy to be excited about. The Wildcats secondary, though, they get everyone back as far as I'm concerned. Traydon Stooks, he had 6 pass breakups. Christian Young, a hybrid playmaker, 67 tackles. That was second on the team. He's going to be the leader on defense this year. I'm expecting big things from Young as him and Johnny Nansen work together for the first season. Overall playmaking needs to be better, though. Again, those 4 picks, 2 of them were by DBs, so this defensive secondary just did not do a lot right last year. They get plenty of experience back. Jackson Turner, an instinctive safety, and then Christian Roland Wallace. He's a veteran at corner. I think this defense obviously has a lot of room to grow. There's plenty of reason to be excited, I think, not just for the offense, but the defense as well, because there's a wealth of experience. And some people could say that's probably a bad thing considering how poor they were, but I think this defense has some interesting talent, especially in the secondary, and I like the transfers they picked up at linebacker, and then Jalen Harris, Kyon Barrs. I think these guys can really lead a resurgence up front. So plenty to be excited about for this defense, but overall, I don't expect them to take massive leaps, but I do think they'll be slightly better than they were a season ago. Looking at the schedule preview and the prediction, it's a really tough first 4 weeks. I don't think they'll make it out of September with a win. You look at Cal and at San Diego State, and they have home games against North Dakota State and Mississippi State. It's just a tough slate to get the season going. I do think all those games, outside of probably the Mississippi State one, are winnable, though. This is going to be tough for Arizona. It's been a while since they won a road game. I do think they beat Cal last year, though, but still going on the road here, it's going to be a tough ask. I think that will be a close game. I do see them starting 0-4 to kick off the year. I like wins over Colorado and Washington, though. I think this team will start to get things going towards the back half of the year, but the schedule really amps up, though. All around, it's very tough. The team has plenty of optimism for improvement, though, especially on offense. We won't see that in the record. I think they'll play a lot better than they did a season ago in multiple different areas. Again, the non-conference is brutal, though. Likely an 0-3 start. Outside of Colorado and Washington, I like wins over Arizona State. It's possible to pick up a win over North Dakota State even. I have them going 4-8 this year. I think they might be better than a 4-8 football team. We'll see. I think this team can certainly get the bowl eligibility if the offensive talent they have. Those young guys can really step up and make a big impact this year. I like what they have in Delora and Cowing. Might be one of the better duos in the conference. Exciting team on paper. We'll see what happens this fall when they play. 4-8 is the final verdict, though, for the record. Arizona, an interesting bunch to watch for sure. That's going to be it for today's episode, guys. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment who you want to see next. See you next time.